What makes a company an ISV though that could benefit from those?
That's a great question. Any company that has a customer-facing website, software, some type of IP could actually in today's world be considered an ISV.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Manhattan's Project. I'm Michael Gibson, Marketing Manager here at 10th Magnitude, and I am joined today by a very special guest, Brian McGinnis, who is one of the Azure Business Development Managers for the Midwest District from Microsoft. Very excited to have you on the show. Thank you for taking the time to come and join.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. First of all, cheers. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
thank you for having me.
Thank you. Why don't thanks. Why don't we go ahead and actually lay some foundation here on what our conversation is going to be? So we discussed as we were scheduling this, discussing ISVs and services and partnerships. Can you first outline for us what exactly an ISV is? We've touched on it a little bit when we had Jason Rook on the show and we were talking about alliances and partnerships in the cloud, but can you flesh that out a little bit? From your side of the table, where are you guys seeing ISVs coming from and what are they and what do they do?
Sure. So we're seeing ISVs align with some of the core pillars of Azure. So if we think about transforming the data center, okay, there are ISV solutions out there like Commvault, Riverbed, Nasuni, complementary to a lot of Microsoft solutions, but they're helping customers to transform their data center and their storage capabilities. Another pillar would be in application modernization, and that's not necessarily replatforming someone's application or scaling it through the cloud, but it's also what you're doing with Chef, or there's Puppet, Docker, Mesosphere, where you're automating the development, testing, and then the deployment of an existing application. So we have that application modernization. And then we have the IoT space and the advanced analytics. And that's where you see a lot of excitement today where, companies are transforming their business with IoT and advanced analytics. So you have the Clouderas out there, you have Hortonworks, where now we can get partners in there and really unlocking the data that customers have, being able to create monetization or revenue paths with their data that they haven't been able to leverage or utilize in the past. So that's been some of the power that some of these ISV solutions have unlocked for our customers, and like I said earlier, have helped our partners enhance their existing practice areas.
What makes a company an ISV though that could benefit from those?
That's a great question. Any company that has a customer-facing website, software, some type of IP could actually in today's world be considered an ISV. Something that a customer can take and use is something that could be categorized as an ISV.
I guess what I'm really trying to ask is, are ISVs, based on how you've defined it, restricted to product companies? Are they restricted to people who are building a piece of software, putting it in a box, be it digital or physical, and then selling it through an online or brick and mortar retailer or purchasing enablement?
No, and again, that's where our Azure Marketplace comes in. So that's B2B and really B2C. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that have their own Azure accounts who can go to the Azure Marketplace, and the Azure Marketplace is a bring your own license type vehicle, and you can download a trial version of a lot of these different solutions, and you can do a search depending on what you're looking for. But the Marketplace is a really strong tool going forward, and it's going to be our app store of the future, where we can have all these different apps. Our partners are developing IP today that could be termed ISV solutions that can sit out in the marketplace to be downloaded, rapidly deployed, and utilized by our customers.
So let's talk about the partnership with Red Hat then. All right, so Red Hat, open source. Microsoft historically not the most open
Right.
source. I mean, there's arguments to be made on either side. Is the Azure Marketplace enabling people to share personalizations and customizations of those resources? Is that up to the vendor?
That is not there yet.
Okay.
So really what's in the marketplace are just those pure solutions that could be downloaded. Now there is going to be, or there is some implementation effort needed, when it's downloaded to, connect in, with whatever's on the customer side. But no, not the, I'm going to customize something and put up a different version of it. You won't see anything like that up there quite yet.
But the marketplace has resources like Chef, for instance.
Correct.
Where you would be able to find resources that Chef is putting out to service, say, CI/CD or provisioning based on what you're looking for by them.
Correct.
Okay. How do those different channels empower ISVs to get their products onto the Azure Marketplace or to consumers?
So today, with getting your app onto the marketplace, it's driven through our DX organization right now. Mm-hmm. So if DX is managing an ISV, they're working with them on that. We also have a nomination process. We are continuously trying to find that next generation ISV, help onboard them, and then build that go-to-market strategy, build that co-sell opportunity, get it in the marketplace, and get it out to both our field sellers, the Microsoft field sellers, as well as our channel development team, or our channel.
Are you seeing any companies that you can talk to us about using those different paths more effectively than other people? Are there any specific success stories you guys like to call out? Is there anyone that's really, in your mind, doing it right?
It's pretty new, and the one thing I want to back up and talk about a little bit, and where we started our conversation, what kind of brought us here today, is the partner-to-partner aspect of this.
Yes.
So
the alliances.
Right, the alliance piece. So how we would categorize a 10th magnitude as a Azure system integrator, and then we also have these ISV solutions. And if you follow what Sadia has been talking about, as far as we're in a mobile-first, cloud-first world, and this is an age of transformation. Mm-hmm. So is our ecosystem. So is our channel. So we saw at the end of last calendar year the need to start partnering our Azure system integrators with some of these great ISV solutions, like I mentioned earlier, to enhance their current practices. Now, where we're seeing some success and where has it worked, we're going to use 10th magnitude, is the one that comes to mind. 2 quick wins off the top of the bat with Chef, where you were able to co-sell, with Chef and with Microsoft, and really enhance the customer's experience, and cause a true up in the amount of consumption and Azure commitment. And that's what we're looking for. That's a win on all 3 levels for the system integrator, the ISV, Microsoft, and in essence the customers as well. So, that's where it's starting, and it's really at its infancy. We're building this P2P framework, and we're trying to do this matchmaking. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say we're become the Match.com of the cloud business, but it might be going there. But where can we partner up these SIs, ISVs, start proving out that, this is a good co-sell, and then really blow it up in the next couple fiscal years so we can continue that growth, catch AWS, and just keep increasing and accelerating that Azure consumption.
Spiceworks just recently put out an article that was talking about how Azure is the most popular IaaS provider. I'd love to get your take on that first and foremost, because that was something that really stuck out at me as I sort of looked into going into this conversation a bit.
Okay. Yeah. Azure has been coming on, and we've been catching, AWS year over year. Mm-hmm. One of the big differentiators for us, though, internally, is that we believe we have much stronger abilities on the PaaS and the SaaS side mm-hmm. of the house versus IaaS. But we've been catching up there, and we're gaining market share, month over month, year over year.
Excellent. See, that's cool because there are so many as fixtures. There's infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, technology as a service, service as a service, which I've seen show up a few times. And then I don't know if you've seen it on our Twitter feed, we actually have a graphic where we make fun of evolution with Charles Darwin, and we call it transformation as a service, as what we do here. To you guys, what's the biggest target for growth for those as suffixes?
So, for us in the role that I'm in, on the Azure BDM team or Business Development Manager team, we want to be able to work with our partners like 10th Magnitude and others, and as the whatever it is as a service. And you forgot to mention the pizza as a service model that we all have seen in social media.
Sure.
But how can you take your existing practices and develop service areas around that? So you might have seen DRAS, disaster recovery as a service.
Mm-hmm.
There has been desktop as a service. So what we want to help our partners do is build these practices and ongoing offerings that they can continue to take to market and scale through customers across all of our segments.
So do you have services set up within Azure to sort of speak to each of those needs? So for instance, for disaster recovery as a service, you guys have Azure
Site Recovery.
Yeah, Azure Site Recovery. We've done a webinar about that. That's been a big one. So obviously that's what goes there. For infrastructure as a service, you guys have what would that be?
So it's a great question. So
do you have one for everything? Is I guess what I'm asking.
So we actually have a very interesting infographic is what I'll call it, and go out to azure.com and you'll be able to see it. And what it does, it breaks down from our infrastructure services, our platform, what all services reside there, okay, and what partners can take advantage of building out their practices, or what practices makes the most sense for them to go into. And ironically, one of the things we're going to talk about today with the ISVs, or the independent software vendors, how their solutions can help amplify or enhance those type of services, even with like disaster recovery or Azure Site Recovery. Some other of these services help enhance those services as well.
These services, do they, in your opinion, and I guess your being either your own personal or Microsoft's opinion, do these specific breakout services prevent Azure users to loop in outside services, such as, for instance, Mesosphere, Chef, or being the two primary ones that we utilize here? Is it easier or harder to loop in with service providers like Rackspace? What fluidity is there for not only consultants like us, but for people doing things in-house? And then secondarily to that, how can ISVs benefit from those partnerships?
Sure. A number of ways. We can just touch on a few. And the one thing that if you've been keeping up with this trend or this industry, the services change day by day, right? And
I try to keep up. I mean, I literally get paid to keep up.
And I think over the last 12 months, over 500 new services have been rolled out, and it's probably even bigger than that. Does it block that? No, I think it's opening more doors for these type of other partners, the ISVs, to come in. Look what just happened with over the last couple months with the Red Hat announcement, and now we're supporting open source. That's huge, right? Because again, it's how Saudi has really changed our view of who we're partnering with today. So we're working with everybody. We're supporting Oracle, SAP on Azure. So I think it's more of, we're not preventing anymore, we're just trying to open more doors to work with everybody.
I ask this knowing full well that it is a very real possibility that there will be something about us in your answer. Is there anything you're seeing right now that people aren't taking advantage of, that you're trying to get people to adopt, or you're trying to get from either side of from any of those paths? Is there anything you guys are seeing on your end that you're just going, why aren't you guys integrating it the way we're seeing that might be successful or is successful?
Yeah, I don't want to go to the integration piece of it. I'm a sales guy,
sure,
at heart. What I will say, going back to the beginning of the part of the question, our partners are the key to our success. And by the way, if I haven't said it, thank you very much, one, for 10th Magnitude and everything you guys have done in the business that you have, provided to Microsoft.
Oh, shucks. Well, thanks to you guys too.
So we need partners, just, being the consultative nature that you are, opening up the minds of the customers. What you do well is you're in there, you're talking to them, you understand where their pains are, whether it's operational, whether it's financial. What we'd like to see partners do more, take your customers to the marketplace. They have Azure commitment. You can work with them to find out what they've consumed, what they haven't consumed. Maybe find that next workload. Okay, that's what's going to cause that incremental growth over time. Allow customers to get familiar with the cloud, because there are still blockers there. People are scared. They believe the cloud actually is up there. It's an actual data center.
Or the what is the sticker that's been showing up so frequently? My partner actually shows me this every time it shows up on Facebook. The cloud isn't real. It's just somebody else's computer.
It's someone else's
and
computer.
I look at her and I go, okay, we're going to have a 30-minute conversation about why that's not accurate, or we can just ignore it. There's blockers like that.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. And the one thing that we do at Microsoft, our data centers are open for tours.
I still haven't made it out to one of those. I got to do that.
They're outstanding, and we're here in Chicago. There's one right here in Chicago. So
yes. I've been told it's awesome.
All Chicago partners, please contact me or any of your local reps, and we're more than happy to help you schedule a data center tour for you and your customers. But,
excellent. If I can find one, I'll put a link to how to schedule that, or give you Brian's contact info.
Yep.
We'll put it right down on the bottom.
Yep, absolutely. That'd be terrific. But yeah, going back to your original question, we just have to keep the activity up. And again, going back to it, we need our system integrators more ingrained with the ISV solutions and embracing this partner-to-partner framework, because it's a great marriage. The ISV community, they want to get their solutions out there. The system integrators want to increase consumption, because you have your incentive program with Microsoft there that way. So it's a win-win all the way around. And my only ask is find out more about these solutions. Find out how they can help your practices. Work with your Microsoft reps, whether it's a Azure team member, your PSE or PTS. We're here to work with you and help you to build out the practice and do more.
Is there anything else you wanted to touch on while you were here? Anything that really stood out that you wanted to go over?
The only other thing that I wanted to quickly talk about. We talked about what you guys done with Chef, and Chef is a great ISV that I think just about all of our system integrators should start looking at, from the DevOps space and automating the development and the test and the deployment. But now
I agree. I mean, it's why this month, when this video goes up, we're actually working with DevOps.com to communicate to people what the benefits of combining Microsoft Azure and Chef are, like how they go together. That Microsoft Azure and Chef, if you guys will excuse the terrible joke, is a recipe for success. Yeah. And it's a great combination. We believe very strongly in it. That's why we utilize it.
And we've seen the the acceleration of consumption by utilizing that solution as well. And going back to the original point, what you're doing now, and you just launched this week, is the containerization piece and being able to launch Docker through Mesosphere. That's coming. Chef and DevOps was hot 12 months ago. Now this whole containerization idea, that's the next thing. And you guys have been on the forefront of that. I think that's terrific. Continue those efforts, and just looking forward to what you guys continue to do in the future, and keep riding that wave.
I appreciate you coming out.
Right,
Thank
Michael,
you for taking the time. I really appreciate you being here. As always, if you guys want to keep up to date on content like this, as we continue to have more fantastic guests like Brian McGinnis here from Microsoft. We have some other guests coming up we're very excited about. We really want you guys to be a part of it. We'd also like you guys to be guests on the show if you're so interested. You can always drop us a line, message us here. Make sure you like, comment, or subscribe to keep up to date on all the new videos. You can reach out to us at info@10thmagnitude.com. That's 10th, 10th 10thmagnitude.com, or you can reach out to us on Twitter at 10th Magnitude. And we would love to have you here. We'd love to hear your insights, any guests you'd like to recommend that we can invite. We're always looking to expand. It's just very convenient that we have Brian here on the show because we have such a good relationship with him. But this was still something that people were asking us for, to put something like this together. And we want to know who you want to hear from, who you want to have us talk to about where cloud technology is, where it's going, explaining things like IoT and ISVs. So again, keep up to date on all of our stuff by clicking the subscribe button below, and please reach out to us and give us any recommendations or feedback you have, or if you'd like to be a guest, we'd love to have you. Thanks very much. See you next time.